And we are live again. WrestlePurists Worldwide, episode 84, hosted by the usual three, myself, Joe Hall.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WrestlePurists
We're going to
Worldwide.
do our usual weekend recap.
Monty, are you back? You completely froze for us.
You might carry on now, bro.
Sure.
No, bro. You
Sure,
took
ladies
the
and
wheel.
gentlemen, welcome to WrestlePurists
You
Worldwide.
took the wheel.
I'm your interim host, Ibu of WrestlePurists here, joined by Joe Holbert and Monty of WrestlePurists, the usual three. And we're here for, as usual, your weekend recap, as well as an NXT Battleground review and the latest information and news on wrestling contracts and free agency. But first, make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, as always. Again, I'm joined by Joe Holbert and Monty. Joe, how are you doing today on this fine Monday afternoon?
How do I look, brother?
You look fucked.
I'm fucked.
You look fucked.
I ain't slept, and it's been a while. I'm wearing my dressing gown and sunglasses for a podcast, so things are going great. Here's what it is. I consider these shows sometimes when you have an eventful wrestling podcast weekend. This is the wrestling podcast hangover, right? I did a watch along for NXT last night, bro. What do you want from me? I'm standing on the apron. I'll do some crowd work, and if we start talking about something exciting, I might chip in a few opinions. We'll see. But I'm happy to be here. It's worldwide, bro. I love me some worldwide. You know, I'm on the show a lot, apparently. So it's good.
Yeah, man. Well, there is a good brothers match, title match to talk about. So I do think we will get you fired up at certain spots. I think so. You know, but you said you'll pick your spots. You know, nice bit of crowd work. You'll do your thing, man. You'll do your thing. Yeah, Ibu, how are you, man? How are you? You know, my interim host.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm kind of fucked too, like Joe. I'm just able to. I'm able to fake the funk, I guess. I'm really tired, honestly. And I'm kind of sad. There was a lot of wrestling I wanted to catch over the weekend, and I just didn't get to fully catch. I wanted to watch Dominion, and I promised the timeline I was going to watch it live and live tweet it. And then I like fell asleep 30 minutes before the show started, and I woke up in time for the main event, but I missed a lot of the undercard. And I heard the undercard was actually pretty good. I heard it was actually a pretty solid show, which is pretty remarkable, you know, for New Japan in 2024. But you know, I'm doing all right. I'm ready to go. I'm raring to go to talk about the latest exciting news in pro wrestling. I watched episode 1 of Who Killed WCW.
Who did
it? Great question. Yeah, great question. It was just interesting, and not to go all the way into it, but it was really interesting. Though a lot of stories it's a lot of new versions of stories that I heard before that were told differently. That makes any sense?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. A lot of like, how did Hogan join WCW? And like, there was always the one canon version like that had been told for years. Now it's like a totally new story I've never heard. I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you hear my pitch for that show? Where it should have been?
What's up?
Where it's like a murder mystery whodunit, and Dwayne Johnson, he's like Poirot or Sherlock Holmes.
Joe, you haven't seen it yet, right?
No.
So it's like cinematically ambitious, and like you get first person view shots of Eric Bischoff walking through the halls of his house right from behind, and there's other shots of Bischoff like staring at like the ocean, like taking his sunglasses off, and like they're playing like somber music. And
has he gone to his barbecue yet? Because when he starts doing the barbecue in the A&E one, that's one of the best moments in the history of wrestling.
Here's another good one. So, you know, like in movies, like the audio effect you get to indicate that this is the character's voice thinking within his head rather than him speaking out loud, right? Yeah. So they talk about the moment where he's in front of Ted Turner and Ted goes, Eric, how do we compete with the WWF and fight Vince McMahon? And it's the moment where Bischoff suggests to him, we need Primetime Monday. And Bischoff's recapping him being nervous in the moment. And he's talking about how, like, it was 20 seconds, but it felt like 20 minutes. And they're zooming in on a clock ticking. And then then they show Bischoff sitting there, right? And it's Bischoff sitting there looking nervous. And you hear a Bischoff voiceover going like, what do I tell him? Do we go prime time? Do we go live? Do we go head to head? What do we do? And it's like he's acting out his own thing.
I got to watch this. Save this for Christmas Day, bro. I'm going to watch this on Christmas.
It's a lot of that. One more thing. The editing is hilarious in that. The opening scene is just like no context, just a bunch of wrestlers answering who killed WCW in short, right? To introduce us, right? And you just see like yeah, it's a lot of Hogan and Bischoff playing their games, and a lot of people are like, yeah, I mean, inmates running an asylum, da 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 da, and everyone's giving their answers, right? And Nash is kind of like, you want to know the real answer? But it's a lot of it's a lot of guys giving their answer, right? And then it just cuts to Bischoff. I mean, cuts to Brad. And I forgot what he says. But he basically just like, well, it fucking sucked, and everyone was a piece of shit. No one knew what the fuck they were doing. Like he just says it very bluntly, and it was 100% edited to be funny. You know what I mean? So yeah, good stuff. Nash's role in this whole documentary is to just act like you don't really know what happened. And it's like,
that's what he always does. Yeah, it's his gimmick.
He's just like, you want to know what happened? You want the Mark answer, and he kind of sits back.
He has that. The Lapis fan always talks about whenever he speaks about him, he goes, "It's like anything else." It's like, what does that mean? It's like anything else. Yeah, true.
Kevin Nash led us to believe in this documentary, Joe, that no backstage fighting angles in wrestling ever looked good until the NWO did that big one in that Disney or outdoor thing where they lawn darted Rey Mysterio. He was like, beatdown. Let's be honest, beatdown angles look like shit. You know, it's just a lot of grunting and punching. You know, he said that they were trying to be like Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, all right, okay, all right. We'll circle back to this when I watch this at Christmas. We'll get back.
Oh man,
amazing.
We're gonna have to start doing like documentary reviews. You know, like some of the channels do. You know?
Yeah, we actually should.
We could do something like that.
You know what's annoying? Dave Meltzer does it. He doesn't review it. He just like pedantically dissects like little points and kind of like rants about like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Who's lying? You know?
Yeah, it's never like I thought the editing was well. I thought the pacing. It's just like, yeah, they said that they needed to mention Zane Breslov, and it starts like ranting for 20 minutes, and it's like he didn't review this episode. He just I don't know.
Oh man, let's talk to the chat. Let's talk to the chat. Super chats. So get them in. Don't wave.
I was talking to the chat, bro.
I just got Jericho vibes from that, bro. So
oh my god,
that was dangerous.
Yo, I missed it, but someone in the chat said like Nash with the red wine. Like, it was that mode. It was Nash with the red wine. You know, glazed eyes.
Peace.
Oh no! So I have to mention one more thing.
Go on.
Y'all know how Nash was Oz at the very beginning in WCW, right? Like 92-ish, 93. He gives the origin, and he's like, so Dusty was on acid, and like they're playing this like psychedelic music, like and he's just like, yo Oz, baby, yo Oz, and he's like the fucking Wizard of Oz, and he's like, yeah, baby, and he's like, well, but Oz was the location. You mean I'm the wizard? He's like, nah, baby, you're Oz. And like they're just playing this music, and it was just so funny.
Oh man, good times in wrestling, you know. All right, super chats, get them in now. Well, you know, we'll be answering them throughout the show, but we're gonna do a nice little sprint. Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you as always. Penta versus Jey Uso best of 7 series will go down as best ever match reviews by Ibu and Hall, but that's the main reason Penta should go to WWE. Felt like a bit of an attack that did it, but
not a single match over 2.5 stars.
That's not true. That's not true. You're just talking about Penta versus Jey. It's heated, brother.
What was the last like?
Heated.
Take the Gunther matches out, right? Jey hasn't had a good match this year.
I mean, that doesn't sound entirely false. Let's take it to cage match like we're known to do on this channel.
Did anyone watch Penta's match with the Butcher?
I saw clips of that match.
Jey Uso's definitely had a good match this year, man. Come on.
Come on, Jey. No, he has not had a good match this year. I'll tell you.
I'm not sure.
For match, we're not allowed to count. Ilya match was not good. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
Damian Priest match wasn't good.
No.
Finn Balor match was okay.
It wasn't good. Like don't even.
I think the Priest match is as close as you're gonna get. I thought that
was almost good. You know, like. You're not gonna. Well, I'm telling you, Monty has no good matches this year.
What was the fatal four-way like with Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre?
It's a multi-man. Go fuck yourself.
Leave him alone, bro. He does a good entrance. Can you not let people? Hey, Ibu, let people enjoy things, bro.
We found one, people. We found one.
We found it. Let's fucking go.
That fatal four-way.
Fuck you. That was a fucking multi-man.
I thought you found it.
He won the match.
He won the match.
Fuck you, like take that shit out too. Like
he's having fun, bro. He's having fun. He's enjoying himself.
His last good singles match was Seth Rollins last year, besides the Gunther thing.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freak. I gotta admit, guys,
we're fans of his now, guys.
I was gonna get, guys, we're all friends. We're all friends.
We are.
Admit something.
Well,
I kind of miss freaking.
Yeah, I don't miss him, but we're both fans now, guys. We announced it on Joe Holbert Promotions last week.
Really? I see. I can't even confirm or deny that because I don't remember a single thing I said last week.
We said he's earned our respect, which is I'm sure he's thrilled.
There's some respect in this business. You got to really pay your fucking dues on the road.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
Is it me or Mark Calloway's voice has changed in retirement?
He's doing a new gimmick.
It was deeper, wasn't it?
Wait, what the fuck just happened?
What happened?
What?
We just decided to just turn in a leaf on Seth Rollins.
We're into Seth now, yeah.
Yeah.
We respect the hustle.
I kind of miss him. Kind
of feels like a good pivot, right?
Yeah, right. It's kind of a good bit.
You gotta keep people on their toes, dude.
You can't stick with the same bit for a fucking year.
It's not a bit.
It's like Joe, we could do the Mana thing right now, but it's like it's about moving on, and just trying some new shit. Like tonight's the big blow off to Monty's Oba Femi deal. Like we gotta really
big blow off.
Yeah.
No, that's bright.
You guys know they've made an Undertaker action figure where he's dressed as a podcaster. Are you guys aware of this?
That's so fucking sick. I'm gonna buy that.
What do they call his show? The one Dead Man show, right? Dead Man show.
I think.
It's a figure with him wearing that shirt and a hat.
That's really sick.
But with the figure law, Anyway. Darren Walker, £2. Appreciate it. Ibu, will you go to Forbidden Door?
Probably not.
Get media, bro.
No.
Imagine Ibu in the media.
For fucking what? To ask Tony about fucking.
No, you don't, bro. If you get media, you don't have to do the scrum. Well, that's not like a compulsory part of getting a media credential.
So what's the part? I mean, besides not paying for a ticket, there's like.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not. Me not going isn't a money thing. I don't want to go to Long Island.
Ooh.
Do you remember, Joe, when you tried to fucking get me to go to fucking to World's End?
I set out on this for a reason. Yes, I do remember.
You were like, "You're gonna regret it, man. There might be some really good stuff there." And the day of, I'm back and forth. I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, it doesn't feel right. I don't know. I'm not fucking with it. And then that show was like, whatever.
But Samoa Joe did win the world's heavyweight title. So
he did.
It's history, bro.
I got to enjoy that from the comfort of my home without having to pay any money. and I had a nice spicy chicken sandwich in my hand,
Beast.
Austin Kinkle, $5. Appreciate you as always. Oba Femi is NXT's Godzilla and needs to be continued to be booked as such. Also, Roxy and Grace should have main evented that show. Yeah,
absolutely.
People saying that.
Very clearly should have. Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally as it started. I was like, "Oh, this is a mistake. This is a mistake."
You could tell straight away. Like, we're gonna get into it, but I don't know. Like, what the best case was for Ethan and Trick. Like, that match was always going to be at a certain level to me, anyway.
Yeah, Joe. Joe. Nothing about what I saw there surprised me. I was like, "Yeah, this is exactly what this is going to be."
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely should have. Absolutely.
And that's the Sultan, $5. Appreciate it. Roxy and Grace reminded me of an Ibu tweet saying industry won't make more Sammys, Punks, Steens, etc. I don't know why matches with grit feel rare instead of standard.
Yeah, there was just a physicality and a toughness and a grit to that, and they just don't produce that for the women in NXT and the Performance Center. There's some very talented prospects and people that I really believe in, but there's just a way that both of them work. And I mean, look, they are world traveled pro wrestlers. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just this type of energy, that type of wrestling, and it's just not falling off trees anymore. And so you got to really appreciate the people that are kind of keeping it alive, you know.
Respect. Darnell SM 199. Appreciate you as always. Need rocks in Marigold. She rules.
She's very good.
She's very, very good.
It's nice to see Roxanne Perez, noted good wrestler, finally able to have good matches, because there was a stretch where Roxanne Perez, noted good wrestler, was not having good matches.
Bro, 499, appreciate you as always. I know Monty was rubbing his hands together last night. I know Oba Femi stocks are going to cash out big. I'm never truly cashing out, brother. That's the beauty of it, you know. I'll never truly cash out. I'll sell little bits of stocks, you know, like I'll sell little bits, you know, but I'll never move off the position, you know. Last night was just another day at the office, brother. We'll get into it. I'm fired up. I'm fired. Caden Lee, part of the family, part of the Performance Center, 199. Appreciate you as always. Ibu, have you watched that match yet?
No. Leave me alone. It's been quite a weekend for people just bothering me, you know. Caden, you're one of them. Leave me alone. Please.
Corey David, $5 on his $5. Corey David, $5. Here's $5. I need a 5 or 3 minute discussion on just Oba Femi. I'll note that down to make sure that we get.
Fuck you, Corey. You know, like just like you know, just like what the fuck?
That'll fly by, bro.
That's gonna be a monologue, bro. You could do that on your own. We could.
Yeah. I could
do it. Monty. I'll go take a piss.
No, we're gonna do it right now. When we get to Oba Femi, I'll just make sure that it goes at least 5
Yeah,
minutes.
that's fair. That's fair.
Showtime Spurs, $10. Appreciate you as always. Are you worried that as WWE becomes more homogeneous? Joe, help me out. Yeah,
homogeneous.
You're good. Yeah. Homogeneous in their building of superstars, more in the PC than indie recruiting, that WWE will become less and less stiff, so to speak.
It's definitely a possibility and a concern, which is why they definitely have to continue to sign people from different locations just to kind of keep that stylistic variety. Because again, otherwise you just create these fucking robots, these good-looking young people that work a certain way coming up, and again, you just get these fucking robots working homogenous style. That it's not new either in WWE. There's been stretches where a lot of the roster was just OVW, or a lot of the roster was just FCW, and it was a very specific way that these people looked and worked. You know, the mid 2000s Ruthless Aggression era, you cut off that main event and upper mid card scene, and it's a lot of generic, bland guys working a generic and bland style. And most of those people had 2 to 3 year runs for a reason. And most of those people could not have lasting careers outside of WWE staying power because they were specifically engineered to be WWE wrestlers. And it's very hard to break out of that if you have no other background.
I think they've actually got better at like giving guys styles that are more case by case. And
sure,
I'd look at like a Bron Breakker as an example. I look at the Creeds. They actually may be too extreme an example where I think they may be still too rough around the edges to fully push on the main roster. Like I'd love to see them get that push, but I'm not sure that the agents will be rushing to, because they are, you know, they're wild, right? So I think it is case by case. I think they're actually a lot better at that now than they were in the era you just mentioned.
100%.
But it's a good question, just in that I think you should always. I think anyone who has a firm rule on where you get talent, I think is doing it wrong. It's like it should always be case by case, talent by talent, right? You're going to find gems everywhere. So I don't know if that answers your question, Shaitan, but I said some stuff.
Yeah, I do. I do think it's got like better in recent years as well. So
I'm not sure I even agree with this take that I'm about to unleash, or that I feel
always a good start.
Yeah, right. I don't think American promotions should have a house style?
It depends what you consider a house style.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think there should be a tonal kind of
consistency.
It's like kind of boundaries that the wrestling operates within an extent.
Yes.
But I think a house style should like inherently have styles within it, because the point is your wrestling matches, there's the stories you're telling a lot of the time is what are the styles clashes, right?
Yes.
Speed versus power, whatever. So it's a conversation for another show. We'll actually get into it one day when we have hours to kill. But
we'll do it on a Hanging with Albert.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. Like the house style thing it could mean so many different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you said, a conversation for another day, maybe, because it is something that you can really like pick apart,
right?
Because especially at the moment, because like AEW is so like it's a hybrid when it tries to lean certain ways, and WWE has always been like a conversation of like whether it swings, too robotic at times, and like how that affects the business and stuff. So that's something that you can literally talk about for like at least, you can do a show on that, But yeah, Hush, $5, appreciate it. It's odd how many people are against Ricochet going to AEW. Even if you're a tribalist, he's reached his ceiling in the Fed. He legit needs a new situation. Well, if you're a fan of WWE and AEW and you like Ricochet, like, why would you want him to go to fucking AEW? It's probably just
but being disappointed is one thing, and being a total weirdo about it is a completely other thing. And
yeah, but that's it. Like anything, can it?
Sure, but
being a total weirdo about it. Being a total weirdo about it.
There were people being like just kind of weirdos about it, unfortunately. And I've seen it both ways, and it's a really lame thing that happens now with wrestlers leaving promotions. I think Ricochet leaving is the right call for him specifically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kaida tells you to cry more, Lib.
No.
I'm assuming that's definitely directed at you, Bill.
I will not.
Corey David, $2. Screw it. Oba 2 belts, the ruler of NXT. Oba versus Ilya.
Listen, I think NXT has 2 black singles champions right now. I'm proud of both of them, but I think we may have to do a little bit of a swap there.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. The big man's getting pretty good pretty fast. It's reminiscent of Breaker's progress at the very beginning.
Breaker.
And here's the thing. Part of it is they're putting him in multi-mans where like
that helps.
He's in multi-mans where he just kind of has to fill in, and like he still like can't sell and probably shouldn't sell too much. And he doesn't have a handle on like a control segment too much, and there's holes that they're elegantly hiding at the moment, 100%. And I mean that's a good thing, but yeah, eye-opening his progress. He's got it. He's a serious somebody.
Yeah. Even from the small sample size of his singles matches, I do think there has been like his progress is like startling. Because I've been on the Oba Femi like pretty much ever since like he shown up on TV the first time.
You just looked at him and decided you were in.
Respect.
Yeah, you're like,
I've got an eye. For it.
That was me with Tommy Billington. I was like, yeah. So, yeah.
Nah, Oba Femi's the future, man. Oba Femi's the future. I don't know, man. I think even like the holes in his game, it's like what holes really? Because like, bro, his control segments aren't like of someone who's as fresh as he is. In his career, like he can work a control segment and it can be like he can work an actually interesting control segment. So he's already above like fucking 80% of heels in the business, and it's because obviously he's so physical and so he's just kind of presence in the way he carries himself and just kind of his feats of strength and all those kind of things. So he's already there, man. If he's showing up, I've got wild takes. We're gonna get into this properly. $5 short term. Oba Holy. Oba Holly, he should get the belt and beat everybody.
He's pretty sick, man. I wish like some of the like big, large people that they recruited from the PC to the PC from like other sports. I wish some of them could kind of like piece it together. Because here's the thing. Ideally, what I look at Oba Femi, I get the mindset of like Inoki or Muto. I'm looking at that guy, and I'm throwing beasts and freaks at him. Like that's my mentality. You know what I mean? I'm looking for any like 7-foot guy that can move, and just throwing him at Oba Femi in 3-minute matches. You know what I mean? Sell for a little bit, and you pretty much just recreate Goldberg versus the Giant all the time. That's what I'm doing. That's my vision when I look at Oba Femi. And there's a couple like large dudes that they recruited from college sports, but they're not progressing in a way where you can just throw them at Oba Femi and it means anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think kind of like what they're doing at the moment with him. It's like he works these North American title matches on PLE or whatever, and it's like they build it up as like a legitimate match and stuff, and then when it comes to it, by the end of it, it's like Oba Femi has just ran these guys over again, and it's just like he's just unstoppable, and that's kind of the thing they're going for. But like you said, it would be a bit cooler if they could kind of mix in some like let's fucking throw Omos at him, let's throw Omos at him, and
I might be able to get into that. I can't lie. I honestly might be able to get into that.
What do you mean you might be able to get into it? If I saw that graphic hit my screen Tuesday night on NXT, so I'd do a watch along, I'd do like a fucking 1,500 word preview. I'd get into it. We'd look into the background of both men, where they came from, where they're going, and yeah, man. We'd have to do something special for that, That's not just a match that you see every day. Yeah, fuck it. We'll start with NXT Battleground. We'll start with Oba Femi because we're here now, And he comes out and he defends his NXT North American title once again, and it's just light work for him once again, And the way that he's plugged into these triple threat matches has been perfect, and he has been able to like perfectly live up to kind of what he needs to do in these, and even exceed what you'd expect of him. He has really great performances in these, but he's allowed to because of the way the matches are put together. I do think now is probably the time to move to more singles matches. I don't really think you're hiding too much. Like I said, he can already kind of do the singles matches and kind of the things that he will struggle with singles matches. So if he's with him holding the North American title, he's not like he's going to be facing shitty wrestlers, So like the Wesley match is probably going to be what's next for him, So we'll see how that goes. I definitely wouldn't have Wesley beating fucking Oba Femi, I wouldn't have anyone.
You'd be so upset at that.
Like, I wouldn't even be that mad because it's just kind of like I get like, oh, okay, Wesley's gonna get his title back, but it's just kind of like, bro, I wouldn't have Oba Femi lose anything until like
he's gonna say like Gunther or some shit.
The next leap year. Not Gunther. Gunther's a heel, bro. Fuck that. You bring up Oba Femi. This is what I'm doing.
Is Oba Femi
he relinquishes the North American title. He's not getting beat by like anyone for that belt, bro. Like, let's be serious. Like, come on, please don't. Like, like I get the sentimental Wesley thing, but like let's think real business and money here, we need to keep this man the undefeated boogeyman, So he runs through everybody, relinquishes the North American title, makes his claim that he wants the world title, and everyone just knows it's over for whoever it is. Trick Williams, who else is going to be world champion soon? I don't know. Fucking Trick Williams, you fucked, He gets ran over. Trick Williams gets ran over. Like, it's kind of just like, oh no, sort of thing. And then he holds the world title, and you just kind of replay the North American title thing. And it's just like, this guy cannot be in NXT anymore. He needs a higher level of competition. And you know how they debuted the Nexus? And it was like, they took out some top stars. Yeah. There was panic, and it was chaotic, and it felt authentic almost. And it was like, it just automatically established them as a main threat to the top of the card, but immediately in one angle. I'd do that, but it would just be Oba Femi on his own, you know? Like, he would just come out in the middle of a 6-man main event, you know? And fucking just kill everyone. Flip, I don't know, put Michael Cole through a table. I don't know. Ruin the arena.
Yeah. Yes, please. Get him out of here. Jesus Christ.
So, and then at this point, what year are we in now? We're probably in like 2025 at this point, you know? And we're looking towards SummerSlam. You know, we're looking towards SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes is the world champion because he's the main character. And you build up this huge deal where Cody Rhodes, I don't know, he somehow wins, you know, but he doesn't win definitively, you know. He doesn't win definitively. He can't do that. And then, I don't know where you go from there. That's how far I've got. 2025 SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes, world title. He's the first person who puts a chink in the armor of Oba Femi, the Nigerian Thanos, as he used to be called on Twitter. Joe.
Right.
What edits would you make?
I like the Nexus part a lot.
Okay.
I think we maybe should move it, but just give him a little more time, maybe as the NXT North American champ. Just me personally, but you know, I'm a pessimist. Not just based on the fact that, you know, he's had like 3 singles matches on TV. I think we probably should just be a little bit more cautious. And just, but I don't want to look. I don't want to rain on your parade, bro. You got it locked in. You're excited. I see the vision. I like the vision. Cody, that's a big time match. We're looking at next summer. I'm all for long term storytelling. You know that about me, man. I'm a big fan. So, I mean, it sounds like big business to me. I'm into it. You make you very happy too, which is important to me as your friend. You know,
I know not many things do. But here's the thing, John. So we talk about this quite a lot, especially when we talk about like Japanese booking. Ibu's a big stan of this. Committing to someone when you just fucking decide, you know. And I just think Oba Femi. But if Oba Femi showed up, no, I'm not even gonna go. You know, fuck it, I am. We're making content. If Oba Femi shown up on fucking the Raw after SummerSlam and destroyed Damian Priest, like, I'd have no complaints about it. I'd respect it very much, you know. If he won the world title in like his first month on the main roster, like, I would respect that very much, you know.
I absolutely believe you would respect that.
How would you feel?
Maybe. I haven't seen as much of him. The only singles match I think I've seen was the one with the Viking Raider. Which was all right. Yeah, went pretty well, to be fair. Like, you know, I'm having fun here because you're so excited and it's popping me, but he is like an actual insane prospect. And the fact that he can even talk a little bit is like kind of staggering, because he's one of those prospects who ticks so many boxes that you kind of like internally think like he must have an Achilles heel and it's got to be the promo, right? Like, it has to be. You always think this is it's like, you know, we'll get to Trick later, who's got great personality, and Ibu and I last night were like, will he ever get what we want him to get? I don't know. Hopefully. Inside the ropes, that is. But you always wonder what someone's flaw is. And the promo doesn't appear to be that for Big Oba.
A lot of those Oba types, like, that's like the things that comes last, if at all, is the promo. And he has charisma. He has confidence. He's very comfortable when speaking live. He kind of has that presence too. Yeah. You know, he's got that down pat.
He had a couple moments in the match. I mentioned this on the Grinnell we did for NXT Battleground. In the triple threat match, he had a couple moments that were almost like the way that they would use Joe in X Division multi-mans, where it was like he was like a destroyer in there, you know, and they had all these nifty spots where he would like catch going. Obviously, the big one where he launched Wesley up into a crossbody was like one of the coolest spots I've ever seen.
He does shit other people can't do, bro. Like,
I agree.
There's no feat of strength he can't do. Like, he does shit that you're like, fuck. Like, the way he throws people is starting.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And I also like his frame in that, like, he's big. But the way I describe it is he looks like he could be like the heavyweight, you know, the WBC heavyweight champion. Like, he's kind of, he isn't built like a muscle model, you know? Like he's got some flesh, but he looks like a killer. Like it pops me.
Kind of has that belly.
Yeah, he looks like a prize fighter almost, and he carries himself certainly like a sort of destroyer, a knockout artist. So he's awesome. The one thing he's obviously gonna have to work on is like the way that he takes and sells and all that. But that's I mean, ultimately that isn't saying that I would be sweating.
He don't need to do a lot of that.
He shouldn't really do a lot of it. No, I
think he sells way too much at the moment.
I think you're right in a vacuum, but I think he has to get that practice in NXT because once he's on the main roster, you want him to
TV.
Yeah, but NXT doesn't really count though. Like it's like when Taker chokeslammed. It doesn't, bro. When Taker chokeslammed Braun and everyone wet themselves, it don't mean shit, dude. It's his own universe in Shawn Michaels' brain.
What I'm a big fan of is that nature is healing, Joe, when it comes to the big man in pro wrestling. We're getting out of that era where these dudes are like trying to do lucha libre and shit, and like high knees and meteoras and splashes and topes. Yeah. Be a fucking adult, demand the ball, get in the post, back to the basket, and post up. Stop shooting 3-pointers. Stop trying to take it up the court. Stop doing the crossovers at the top of the key. Just get in the fucking post and just post up and dunk on people. Use your size. Your size is a tool. It is a gift. It's something unique to you that other people much smaller than you don't do. So why are you doing the shit that they do when you can just do the shit that they can't do?
I know I'm wearing the shades, but I'm not Dijak. You don't have to tell me these things, bro. I'm wearing the sunglasses for different reasons. I'm not him. It's fine.
Speaking of Dijak, I mentally fantasy booked what would make him work on the main roster, and I came up with some pretty good pitches, and I don't know if I should unleash them on a podcast or just type it out somewhere and let it
unleash them.
They're pretty. I can't even not even to put myself over too much. They're pretty sick. I can't lie.
Oh yeah,
might do a drawing.
Let someone send a super chat. You know, someone sends a super chat of $10 or more, Ibu will unveil his Dijak.
How crazy! Booking. Like the idea that using the word unleash, like how crazy could these pitches be for Dijak, right? Like
that's Dijak, isn't it?
Yeah, like
what was it? Hard Justice. Where you would like interrogate Bud.
You know, he wouldn't be an interrogation artist here. He wouldn't be an interrogation artist.
Scratch that one off the list.
You know, I really considered a lot of things, Joe. Tone. What works in modern wrestling, recreating the feeling of things from past eras and applying it to the modern sensibilities without jumping over certain lines that just would really kind of, you know what I mean, just be a bit much. I considered all these things. I considered musical motifs and visual motifs.
Fuck.
You know, I considered how his promos would be shot.
You really
did you have heard when you did this?
Say it again.
He's really earning his $10 super chat.
I was listening to Black Sabbath as I was pondering these things.
That tracks, yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about Oba Femi?
Oh my God,
he's a good wrestler.
Are we not?
Is the clock good? By the way, did we start the clock on the Oba Femi thing?
We can start it now.
Okay.
What is this? He's good. The match was good.
He's not just good,
and he has potential.
Good. He's 25 years old,
and he's big, and he's young, and he's a stud,
big,
and
he's very powerful.
He has killer power bombs.
He does shit that no one else can do.
We said this.
We're saying it again. We're saying it again, bro. It's how this show's going, you know. We did a show yesterday, so we went backed up with a bunch of news and shit, you know. What did I want to say? You know what we'll do to just eat up some time? I'm not even going to do a bit with this. I'll be genuinely, like, completely real about this. I want the live chat to name wrestlers under the age of 32, and I'll tell you if I'll start a promotion with them over Femi.
Oh man.
So what are we doing? What do we do in the meantime?
Throw some names at me. Throw some good names. Try to throw some curveballs at me. Wrestlers under the age of 32 that you'd start a promotion with over Femi. Because I can think of like one.
I don't really like any young wrestlers though. Bron Breakker?
Will Ospreay, probably. Bron Breakker, no. Theory, no. Ilya, no. Jacob Fatu, no. MJF, yes, that was the one that I was thinking of. Carl Anderson is not under 32, so Ric Flair isn't either. Willow, maybe. Dragon, I've already said no. Takeshita, no. Tiffany Stratton, no. Sting is not under the age of 32, so
Montel just he confirmed over Tiff on the
Tyler
big board.
Bate, no. Yuma, no. Roxanne, no. Utami, no. Daniel Garcia, no. Rhea Ripley, that's a good one.
Surely Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, Willow, MJF, Ospreay.
The big four.
Bozilla, no, but Pop. Io Score, no. Axiom, no. Come on, Axiom. Come on, bro. He's a good wrestler and all. Nick, come on. Jenny. You know that's just she knows us, man.
The emojis, bro.
Dominic Mysterio, no. Liv Morgan, no. Marco Stunt, no. Nakajima, no. I think we found him.
Nakajima's like 35.
I don't know who was looking for him, but I'm glad you found him.
How old is Mercedes? Is she 32 yet?
I think she's 32.
I think she's 32.
If she's 32, she doesn't qualify, brother.
I'm sure she's devastated.
I was offering big contracts as well,
She doesn't qualify.
Swerve isn't under the age of 32. I believe he's 33. But no.
Yeah, but I want to say he's 33. Yeah.
Satnam Singh, bro, we found him. There's some no suggestions. Athena, she's not under the age of 32, bro. She's been wrestling 32 years. Yeah, we found them, people. That's the big five, or whatever it is. So yeah, there we are. We are up to 3 minutes 45, and I'm gonna hand it to Joe Hulbert and Oba Femi, man. Talk to me.
He's good, isn't he? He's good. He's what I think they should do with him is I think he should vacate the North American title. Win the NXT World's title, and then debut on Raw in a sort of Nexus-esque angle where he obliterates everyone as a one-man wrecking crew. And then I'd probably shoot for what year will be, and then maybe 2025. I'd probably shoot for SummerSlam with Cody Rhodes, and they can have a big-time money match. I mean, I'm just piecing this stuff together as I go here. Obviously, I haven't thought it through very much, but I think that outline makes some sense here. But what do you think?
Fuck all of you. I think I hate Oba Femi now. I think I've decided I hate Oba Femi. He sucks. It's over. I've decided.
Come on, man. I don't do this for anyone else,
You don't. That's true.
That's what makes it terrifying. That's what also makes
it. That's what makes it serious, bro.
No, it makes it like
this is a serious.
I think you're both right.
I kind of agree as well.
That's the problem.
But my closing thoughts are: this is a very serious talent, and I think I nearly did a tweet where it's like guys like him come along like once in a generation, but like guys like him don't even come along once in a generation. Just the Nigerian Thanos.
This surely won't age poorly. Surely this will go great.
If he isn't a future world champion, like if his body holds up, like say if you don't blow his knee out again. Like, this is another thing, bro. He's fucking already blew his knee out.
Yeah,
he's still this early in his career, and he's still this good. Like anyway, I'm getting fired up.
You are.
This is the movie with 17 after credit scenes.
Yeah, listen, the people are
but without the movie part.
Listen, we got a hot crowd, bro.
It's fine.
our crowd. So
I got nothing else to talk about.
If we're just doing chop exchanges, for fucking 15 minutes, the crowd's hot for it. The crowd's hot for it, bro. It's what it is,
Kobashi Sasaki type beat.
It works.
Yeah. Let's do some super chats. Fuck it. Heard they got Corey David $2. Heard they got the ambulance outside. Rest in peace, Ricochet.
Yep. There's an ambulance outside of the venue for Monday Night Raw.
Beast. It's the way it should be done. Like, even
how
if you're
many shots
Ricochet's
are we gonna
biggest
get?
fan,
How many shots are we gonna get of Samantha Irvin looking on in horror?
Oh. She refuses to announce Braun Breaker in the future and shit.
If this is 15 years ago, the things Braun would say to her on the microphone would be something.
Let's start it back a bit.
I'm not saying let's go on 5 with it. Let's find a middle ground.
Yeah, I'm fired up for it. I can't lie.
The liberals can survive abroad, can't they? Can they live with that one?
That was an insane sentence that you just pieced together there, boss. The liberals can survive abroad. That's what you just mustered there.
We don't gotta call people the other B word, but
Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, anything like that with Ibu and women, we have to be careful.
Samantha Irvin's a good woman. I just found out the other day that she's 35. I had no clue, and I was like, man, God bless. Black does not crack.
She's 35, not 65.
Well, of course, but she's frozen at 25. You know what I mean?
I mean, good for her.
I wish I was as lucky.
Ricochet also is 35, I think, and he's very youthful looking fella, Anyway. And that's the salt on $2. I'd ascend if we somehow got Samoa Joe versus Oba Femi.
I think Joe's brain is too keen on that idea, to be honest with you.
It's never happening, so
You're right.
But it's a beautiful idea.
I feel like the face-to-face in a promo would be really fun too.
Yeah, and the graphic. The match we'll see. We'll pray.
Can you imagine Joe because Samoa Joe has one way to do pull-aparts. Just imagine Joe getting held back with that kind of Joe face he makes in pull-aparts, and he's just like, oh my!
That would rule, definitely.
Yeah. Oh man. He'd cut promos about how Oba Femi should be scared of him, But anyway, here's the guy.
I took a trip this weekend back to your country. I don't even know where that's going. I just the setup of that is it's interesting.
All right, here's the guy with the super chat name that I'll never read out. $5. Have Javon win the title off of Oba? No. Off of Oba in a true David versus Goliath match? No.
I'm a fan of the Javon Evans.
So am I. I think he's fucking great. But
yeah.
The Oba Femi money is
he calls himself bouncy. I don't know about that one, but
he's still young. He's learning.
Yeah, let's work on that one.
Corey David, $5. Appreciate his orders. I need Oba Femi, the Nigerian Nightmare, to do the Bane backbreaker to Cody like Batman. Like Batman. Cody basically does Batman plot with them. I need the Bane backbreaker. Listen, I could buy into it. I'd buy a ticket. Idea. Corey David, $2. It's crazy. Oba at this point is better than
this is true.
Wardlow. Don't talk to me about Wardlow, bro.
And
I'm not even one of the people that runs the Wardlow thing. I usually kind of on these podcasts and shit. I usually tend to fall on the side of he's off on him a bit. They fucked him up creatively and shit like that. But don't put those two in the same sentence again, please. That being said. Mouse 184, appreciate you 199. What is the most racist wrestling angle ever?
Fuck.
It's definitely someone Ole Anderson.
Yeah, if you go far back like that, then you can probably find a lot. But in terms of what's made it to national television, I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's a lot of candidates.
It depends as well because there's been because of wrestling and the way they make, like, especially back in the day, the way things would be made light of and stuff. It's like you can go down the angle of like, oh well, like DX walking around with like fucking blackface in the middle of the ring, doing accents in the middle of New York, going up to stands and stuff, like, you know what I mean, just like stuff like that. And then there's well, not hilariously, but Triple H again. You can go to like some of the like more sinister stuff, like the Booker T promo when he's got people like you know what I mean, and all that shit. So it's like it kind of depends on what you class as more racist, you know.
I'm pretty sure I vaguely remember there's Joe, wouldn't you know? Is there not an angle with like Oli and Junkyard Dog, and it might have been like 1990 or some shit, and
when JYD's working with Flair,
I think.
I think so. And also, there's like a Harley promo on Ron Simmons.
No, that's crazy.
It was commonplace, bro. It's fucking awful, and it's not like like wrestling people. Well, it was a different time. It's like some of the stuff we're describing is not that long ago, dude.
I mean, some of it's like I said, it's like, do you want to go down a sinister angle? And it's like someone's already said, like, so a couple of people have already pointed out, like Vince straight up said the N word on like TV, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, but obviously that was meant to be like, like comedy or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like this sinister, like I said, there's like differences.
There were some pretty like racially tinged and very cringe Nakamura and Jinder Mahal segments in the build to their match.
Certainly.
Yes. Someone mentioned as well, like post 9/11 WWE, bro, like the fucking like the Muhammad Hassan, like Undertaker, fucking. that was crazy. Do you know what I mean?
It's terrible, dude. It's actually like legitimately we're having fun here, best we can with this question, but it is actually fucking outrageous how many candidates.
Yeah, it's disgusting. The real answer is there's a lot.
You can probably come up with like 60 at least mildly racist angles in the last 25 years of American wrestling.
None of us have mentioned the JBL Eddie build.
Well, the thing about
we just count that one out because we like the match, because that's how sick we are as wrestling fans. Know, it's like,
I don't want the liberals to get me. Yeah,
brother, he does a skit at the border. A skit, I tell you. Wrestling's fucked up, dude. I don't know why we like it.
Yeah. Iconic times,
Match banged. Eddie run that fucking razor, I know that much.
4 3/4.
Damn right you did.
4 3/4.
All right. Anyway, Corey Davey $2. Does Samantha Irvin leave or stay WWE? I think she stays, to be honest. Yeah. I think PW Insider wrote a line about it as well in the report. Like, there's no worry in WWE that like she's gonna be like jumping either. So, yeah, man. Samantha's a big star in terms of non-wrestlers and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like she getting a lot of views on the TikTok for WWE and shit. So yeah, she's definitely kind of like one of the. She's part of the show. Do you know what I mean? She's not like just an nameless announcer. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll see the horror on her face tonight, I'm sure. Hush 199, appreciate it. If New Jack was alive, would TK give him a match?
Yes.
What is that chat on tonight, bro?
I don't think he would. Tony Khan wouldn't book New Jack, bro.
I think he probably would, but
yeah, he would.
I don't know, man. I don't think he would.
He'd have him do like Anarchy.
You too sure?
Nah, he booked.
Nah,
he booked Sabu.
Sabu went New Jack, bro.
Yeah, but he's Monty. Did you hear Sabu did at Mania weekend?
Yeah, he's kind of out of control these days.
He's out of control. Bro, this dude like.
No, but I mean, isn't like TK would be like scared of New Jack? Like he wouldn't want to talk to him and shit.
With respect, I think Tony Khan has booked quite a few wrestlers that he's probably quite scared of. I mean,
yes, yeah.
So one said Nick Gage, but like Nick Gage, and I don't know, man.
Dude, Nick Gage worked a TV main event.
Yeah, I know you. I know what you're getting at. I still think
it's different.
New Jack would have appeared on an AEW program.
He wouldn't have. He probably would have made like an appearance for an angle, probably.
Yeah.
I think it would have happened, but Tony wouldn't have booked it. Like if Tony would say, if like Will Washington was like, "Yo, I know someone who knows New Jack. I can get him booked. I'll deal with it." Like Tony would be like, "Okay, cool." You know,
we're getting into the like details of this fantasy booking.
I think Tony would have taken a picture where he's like cheesing and smiling and shaking New Jack's hand. To be honest with you,
I do too. Because he's an ECW kid. He loves
exactly. You know that jumping hug Tony does. He probably does it to New Jack, and then they ask New Jack like, "What do you think of ECW of AEW?" And he's like, "Hey, that nigga Tony paid me. Shit, nigga, I fuck with him. I fuck with Tony Khan, nigga. You know what I mean? Got some hoes backstage. Like I was just doing some cocaine backstage with my nigga, and you know, like it was just he do his thing. He would get booked."
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the original gangster. I don't know where he's currently resting, but rest in peace to the original gangster.
What else on the NXT Battleground show is worth kind of like mentioning? Obviously, the Roxanne
versus Jordan Grace.
Oh, let me fucking finish my sentence. Jesus. As I was saying, obviously Roxanne and Jordan Grace. Yeah, that's probably the only thing that we'll kind of like spend like real time on. Now we've done the Oba Femi thing, you know. Iba, you can start us off since you was very patiently sat through the Oba Femi stuff. Roxanne, Jordan Grace, Roxanne's special, man. Like, I know I've kind of used up all my points today, giving compliments like that, but Roxanne is very special as well. Jordan Grace is she just feels at home in kind of main event spots. It was good shit, wasn't it, Iba?
Yeah, Jordan Grace is a main roster, main event level women's wrestler, and frankly, WWE should just straight up steal her. It is what it is. It just is what it is. Yeah, they should just take her.
Yeah,
but not before this Chihiro Hashimoto match that she's scheduled to have at Sendai Girls. I believe it's at Sendai Girls. I'm going to be watching that. That's going to be fucking sick. That's like a antenna up for like women's match of the year candidate, genuinely. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this just felt bigger than everything else. This just kind of felt like, all right, this is like we're locking in now. This is like the actual main event of the show, and big fan of this. Great action. There's a grit. There's a physicality and intensity to it. Like I said before, and Jordan, like, she loses the earring and she starts to bleed out of the ear. There's just that type of vibe to the match. You know, that any errant shot can just bludgeon somebody, and that's kind of how it was going. Great pace to this. It built really well. You know, the way they kept teasing the Juggernaut driver, they structured it like the Juggernaut driver was one of those match-ending bombs from like an All Japan match or something. Like the way she was setting up that Juggernaut driver, it feels like a fucking like Akiyama's Exploder or something. So really built well in that respect. And yeah, Roxanne, like I said earlier, she's a hell of a wrestler, and relative to her ability and skill set, her output was so far below that last year, and it wasn't entirely her fault, but I almost felt like the surroundings of NXT and her competition and just the environment, I feel like it was starting to drag her down, to be completely honest with you. I felt like she was getting dragged down, and she needs to constantly be working people that are better than her or at her level, and that's what you had here in Jordan Grace. And so hell of a match here, and eye-opening in the sense that I think we should really look at main eventing with the women next pay-per-view. If Julia can make Heatwave like the plan, that unquestionably should main event the show. And I'm very excited for that. I think that's going to be awesome. And this match is awesome. The only thing that wasn't awesome was that fucking dog shit interlude we got towards the end of the match. They tried to set up the whole thing where Tatum Paxley is going to face Jordan Grace. Clearly, Jordan Grace is doing the against all odds open challenge. She's going to clearly face Tatum Paxley. I presume the former Dana Brooke will be somebody that Tatum Paxley beats on an Impact TV to heat her up. Like, that's the wrestling TV book. I think she's going to beat her to heat her up in an Impact show, and then they do their little build. And I get all that, and that they wanted to shoehorn that in. The placement of it in this match was kind of infuriating. It made me really mad in the moment. I think I tweeted, "Oh fucking brother, fuck off." But hell of a match. What did you think, Mr. Bing Bong?
Hello.
Yes.
I love this match, actually. And I actually thought with 3 to 5 more minutes and a finish that didn't involve the things you just mentioned, I thought this could have been the best women's match in the States this year so far, actually. With just a little more time without that. I honestly thought the work was that good. I think a lot of Jordynne Grace. I think her stuff looks great. I love the physicality. I love that she feels like kind of singular force in US women's wrestling. I think her style actually like really stands out. So I was ready to be impressed by all of that because she always impresses in that regard. What stood out to me here was actually this was my first chance to see Roxy, work as a heel in a big match. I hadn't seen the Lyra match. I think it was I missed, and she blew me away. Actually, I was kind of stunned how good she was as a heel because I think a lot of Roxanne, but her skill set in my mind, it's like I've always seen her work as a babyface, and her skill set feels suited to being a babyface. But she works the arm with like aggression, and she's finding these little quirks as a character. She's kind of doing like someone in our chat yesterday said she's like doing like an AJ Alexa, like that's kind of what she's doing as a character, and I do see that. But her work obviously is, she has fundamentals that allow her to go beyond that in the ring, right? Mm-hmm. And I think she's getting good already. She's only a few months into it being a heel, but I think she's already getting good at marrying those things. Mm-hmm. I thought she came across super polished as a heel. She felt like a champ. I think she is like, we've had our Oba Femi thing. Like we had our fun with it, and I co-signed legitimately. But talk about prospects, dude. Roxanne is like a huge piece for that division, like massive. Her age, how good she already is, her fundamentals are so sharp, and look how much crisper her stuff is right now, dude. She's hitting hard. She didn't look out of place physically with Jordynne. I thought they had a hell of a match. Speed versus power. Killed it, dude.
I didn't expect Roxanne to be this good as a heel, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
me either.
It felt like just a thing that they did because she hung around NXT for so long that it was like, the fans started to get over the babyface thing, and it was just kind of like when you linger in NXT too long, you had to just change and do something else. And so they did that, and it got to that point. I kind of thought, that's a bit of a shame, but we'll see what happens. And this is the best version of her in NXT so far. The heel role is allowing her to kind of be tougher because now she's laying the forearms in and she's doing the aggressive thing. And her way of being aggressive, unlike other people in WWE, like their version of aggressiveness is making faces. Hers is actually just laying her shit in and being physical in that way because obviously she's not imposing physically. She's not taller than anybody or bigger than anybody, but she can just be vicious in her offense. And so, yeah.
And what she's doing that's a really good sign with a young wrestler is she's swinging for the fences with her character work. Like I just gave those 2 examples earlier. It's like if you're going that hard with it as someone who's new to the role, you can always rein yourself in, right? Like you can always pull it back a little bit. Sometimes you'll see a young wrestler try and be a heel and they're not got the confidence to actually try to be a heel. You can't say she ain't trying to. She's living that, right? Her presence, the way she's carrying herself, she's transformed her presentation in that regard. So I think, we've always been high on her in terms of her ceiling, but I think this heel run, it might be something that in 2 years when she's the champ on the main roster or whatever, we might look back and say that was like transformative. I really feel that strongly about it. When they first did it, I was kind of like, fuck, Roxy's a heel now.
She's actively getting more and more comfortable.
Yeah,
I think
it's good.
Similar to Stratton, I think when she does get called up now, she'll be able to slot right into a top spot, to be honest with you, in the women's division. And it's pretty exciting to think about. Yeah.
Huge piece.
Yeah, she just continues to kind of prove people right because a lot of people are high on her. We're not saying anything new here, She's special, but like her stuff does look sharp, and it allows her kind of some leniency with kind of the character work that she does because her work is up to standard. It's sharp enough, it's crisp enough, etc., etc. You can buy into her against people like Jordynne Grace because of that, So that also helps the character work in ring. She's like I said, she just continues to prove people right. Like when people say she's a prodigy and stuff like that, like it's a shoot, you know, it's a shoot. It's not just something that she puts on a gear and shoot, you know. And yeah, this I can understand kind of people having skepticism with like the heel run, but it's like NXT, and as Joe correctly pointed out, if she did go too far and it got cartoonish or something like that, she could always reel it in, and she's in the environment to be able to do that. So I was never kind of like worried about it. I was more kind of like interested to see how it would go with her. But she's special, man, and as is Jordan Grace, she's so unique. She's so unique. And just good, and I agree with you saying like WWE should just like straight up steal her, bro. Fuck it. You know,
trust me, I'm sure they don't need your encouragement, fellas. I think they'll
just you need to get her on the books, you know. So yeah, Roxanne, Jordan Grace. I thought you want the Trick Williams Ethan Page match. Yeah, I thought it was genuinely like just an average, just a match kind of thing. But the problem with it is that it's in the main event. It's for the world title. You know, so it's kind of just like in a vacuum, it was just like a match, whatever, you know. But in the context of where it was placed on the show and it's for the world title, that's where it comes into the point where you kind of have to talk about it, where it's like this isn't good enough, you know. Go on, it Bill.
My problem is beyond that though. It's an average match in the main event for the world title, and that's like it's like especially following the match that it just followed, right? But this was Ethan Page's. The world is like the wrestling world. Their eyes were on him here. You know, he bet on himself. He made the big gutsy jump to NXT. He really sees himself at a certain level, and he makes this jump, and he's in a main event spot. And you know, I'm not one of those people that think like one performance, one match is impactful to somebody's legacy or things like that. But at the same time, this is more important than any other match. And again, main event spot again. And I know his opponent Trick Williams is limited, but you got to bring the goods a little bit more than he did. I thought like he did nothing outside the box that you wouldn't have seen from any other Ethan Page wrestling match. I expected it to be average, but I was kind of surprised at just how much he just held to form of who he always is in matches. And so I'm watching this and I'm kind of like, man, dude, like, because I always root for nice wrestlers to kind of punch the promoter in the mouth, so to speak, with their performance. And he didn't do that. He didn't really like sway any detractor at all. I was actually talking to a friend of mine during the show, and he was not big on Ethan Page, and he's a casual. And I was like, no, he's a good worker. I said all that, and he made me like look really bad immediately. But like I was like, no, he's a solid wrestler. He's not great, but he's not the shits. He's not Pillman, you know, whatever. And then he goes out there and like nothing at all jumped out of the page from anything he did. So you can't write that as anything other than a disappointment when it comes to his showing. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I would have rather seen Noam Dar versus Trick Williams, to be completely honest with
you. Yeah. Ethan Page, he was a very big match for him, you know. Very much like it, but so you don't want to put too much stake in one match, and you can't say someone's career's over or anything because that's just ridiculous, you know. But there is something to be said about like it's his first match in a new territory, and it's important to kind of leave an impression. And although he didn't completely flop, it's like he didn't leave an impression, you know. So I don't know, Joe. Where do you find yourself on it? I mean, he'll be fine in NXT, you know, but it's just like, what do you think?
I liked the match more. I'm not saying it was like a great match, but I honestly thought it was decent. I didn't have like a huge problem with it. It was exactly where I thought we would be. The thing is like, I get the point. I'm not saying that Ibu's wrong, but Ego, like he is who he is, man. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Ethan's probably been wrestling for nearly 20 years now, dude. I know it sounds ridiculous because he's young, but he started really early. Like, I think he started in like 07 or 08. Like,
that's crazy.
He is who he is, and I think that is a valuable piece. I don't think it's a main event piece, but I do think it's a valuable piece. I think he's a good promo, and I think he's a very steady worker in the sense that someone sent a super chat last night, and they said, "What's the ceiling on Trick and Ethan?" And I said, the ceiling's probably 3 stars and the floor's probably 2.
Yeah.
And that sounds really insulting, but the reality is there are a lot of wrestlers where that range is like that, right? With Ego, he's steady. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to, embarrass himself out there. Trick, I thought he guided a steady enough match with Trick outside of that one moment that was slightly scary off the top rope. He just doesn't have the ability to go through the gears as a main event player. And I don't think that's like, to me, that's not news. I completely get the point that this was a big occasion and it'd be nice to prove otherwise. But I think Ethan has a role to play. I just don't think it's as the lead heel of even NXT, frankly. He's a nice piece. I don't think he needs to be wrestling main event matches, but we also do need to be fair. And I know Ibu did mention it, so I'm not, but Trick is also super limited, right?
Yes,
and
extremely
that's
limited.
fine. That's fine. But the issue with it here was stylistically, when you looked at this matchup, there is only so high this could climb, right?
Right.
And I actually thought by the end of it, the lads looked like they were feeling the pace a little bit because I don't think either of them are used to wrestling guys with that frame, to be honest with you. Ego, you're even on the indies at that size, so he can hurl guys around. Trick is big, man. Did you see the announce table spot? Even had to hurry that thing to get him up. It's like
big dude.
Yeah, so I just think it was not a great matchup. I think if you give Ego a more of a bumping baby face, he looks a little bit better, but he is who he is. He's a nice piece. I think he'll do good in the end,
I think you said it correctly. He'll be a nice piece to NXT, I think he'll be very useful, and I think if he can kind of if he can, I think as well, if he can kind of tweak a few things, I think he'll probably be okay on the main as well, to be honest. But yeah, man, Ethan Page. The women's ladder match was, I thought it went pretty successfully. I was talking to Joe about it before we came live. But yeah, I thought it was pretty successful. Kalani Jordan is the first ever women's North American champion. I think it's a nice choice. I think the belt is pretty. I think it's pretty. That's a nice way of putting it. Cool. It's a very nice belt, white strap, And yeah, successful, nice little ladder match. Obviously, very clearly, choreographed, set pieces and stuff like that. But I thought the women did what they needed to do, and it worked out in the end, sort of thing. I don't think it was ever going to be anything like special. Do you know what I mean? Or like a 5-star ladder match. Like it was never going to be that. I don't know. A few people were kind of worried about women that green doing a match, a lot of match that can be so chaotic, But yeah. What else from the weekend can we kind of touch on?
Wait, Montel, we forgot about the Good Brothers.
There you go. There's another thing from the weekend we can touch on.
I thought we were moving off NXT. I was just gonna say Joe's sad. Like Joe is sad.
There's someone else. There's someone else on the show as well.
I thought it was a rib, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I thought Monty was fucking with us.
I thought they had one of the best matches on the show.
There was another match on the show as well. I was just like,
so
I was kind of throwing it out.
Lola.
Yeah, they're boom. That's what I mean. Like we can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Good Brothers went out there, Monty, and they had their best 2v2 non-step tag match in about 8 years.
You want to get into that now, or should we save it for the main event?
Well, I think we start now. It might be the main event, right? Yeah. We start now.
I mean, like the Lola Voice versus Shayna is worth touching on because I thought they did a really good job with it, to be honest. And obviously, with it being a stipulation that it is, it's like, I think we got a super chat about it. So, one sec. Someone said, "How does Shayna have a Tyrone Kid?" $2. How Shayna have a better match with Lola than Ronda? Well, Lola, I know she's green and I know she's new and stuff, but she is pretty decent. She's coming along at a decent pace. But like, even just that is like so much better than second run Ronda, bro. Like second run Ronda was like, So
yeah, they played it too straight too, dude. They were like, look. Unfortunately, this is the World Wrestling Federation. Even if you're doing the MMA gimmick, you have to just go pro wrestling with it.
That'd be exciting, yeah.
Yeah, they were trading feints and stuff in a stadium. It's fucking like
in a stadium.
Yeah, it's wrestling. Like, and I saw people were upset. I was like, why are they doing this in an underground match? It's like, because it's NXT. Do you really think the people that watch NXT want them to do like an actual sincere simulation of mixed martial arts? Like, I don't know, man. I thought they had fun with it. They played it kind of like a big dumb action movie, and it
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lola has really some MMA fighters have big personalities, and when they do pro wrestling, it does not translate at all. TNA learned this lesson a time or two. Lola is her personality feels entirely at home in pro wrestling, and she's like way over the top, and but it fits because that's what wrestling is, So she's a nice prospect. Shayna, it's always cool to see her do her thing. So that was a fun matchup. I like I honestly thought the main event was the worst match on the show, and I still thought that was decent. So
yeah. Everything else on the show I thought ranged from fun to entertaining to actively good. So
my superpower, as I said to you earlier, was I didn't watch it with sound because I was doing a watch along. So I had it on mute and I was talking to Oracle doing the show.
Zero sound. And
when I rewatched the Good Brothers match today, because my brother wanted to watch it, I was like, now I get why people were down on the show, because this crowd kind of sucks, and the acoustics of that building wasn't great, were they? They just didn't sound particularly good. Terrible. So yeah, and it didn't feel so. That I actually think I saw some grinners talking about it today. The folks that watched with us on the grin along liked the show more than because when you just watch the action, there was some great action on that show. And that ladder match, for example, I thought it was wonderfully produced. I thought. So yeah, it was an interesting show in that regard. I honestly was more fond of it than the majority, which, as you know, with NXT is the opposite of what what usually happens. So.
From what I saw, though, people seemed to like the show. I enjoyed it too. I had a pretty good time with this thing. NXT's TV is not for me, but they have people that I like on the show. So when they put together these one night events, I can get into them if things kind of come together and click. And I thought this one did. I thought the show did. And that Good Brothers tag was, like I said, their best match in about 8 years. I kind of knew it was going to be really good because Axiom and Fraser are awesome. They're going to create the movement, and they just need competent, professional, solid heel tag workers to have a good match. See, I've been tapped in on the Axiom Fraser, Joe Holbert. I know I've been trying to tell you about these guys.
You have,
and they need competent heel tag workers, and it doesn't get more competent than the Good Brothers, and
that's their middle name.
The thing is, their approach, their game plan was first half of the match, let's be competent. Second half of the match, let's play their game a little bit.
Yeah,
and they played ball a little bit with Axiom and Fraser, and did some big moves and closing stretch and some near falls. Really good. I thought this was really fun.
Yeah,
it was a massive success, man, and Ibu has been waving the flag for Axiom and Fraser for a while now. Yeah, you even got a quote to it off him last night. I saw that. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, man.
Yep,
they're very good, and like you said, put them with two pros. You know what I mean? Stick them in there with two pros like the Good Brothers, and you get something very good, don't you, Jordan? It was a very successful match last night, wasn't it?
It was. I tweeted about this a little bit last night. So I have a lot of fun with the Good Brothers bit because how can't you? They are. That is what they do. And there's been much made of their ranging effort. Of course, the Machine Gun Carl Anderson famously talking about bright lights and such. And, all of this is earned reputation and it's fun and we all enjoy it. However, it sincerely popped me to see how visibly motivated they were to make the most of that match last night. Because, I've spoken about this a little bit, but those fellas are in a very different place right now. I know Ibu, you and I have talked about it, right? Since they've brought back the Talking Shop podcast, they've been talking about kind of where they're at personally and mentally. The Machine Gun, 6 months sober, looking like he's 25 again at the age of 44. He's looking incredible. How sharp was he last night? Seriously, he looked really, really good. And I think it was cool for they've been back in WWE for, my God, dude, 20 months maybe. And the reality is they haven't had a ton of chances to have real matches, right? And I think when we've seen them actually get a chance, they are actually genuinely motivated to make most of it and kind of right wrongs in some way. So I don't know what comes of this. I don't know how many more opportunities they're going to get. But as a fan, sincerely, it popped me to see them like really go for it. You know, especially Machine Gun was making the most of this. Took the big Spanish fly off the top, did the TKO off the middle. Like they were swinging for the fences. I thought Gallows was used well in this match too, in the sense that, I mean it. I know that sounds like kind of backhanded compliment, but the reality is, no one, like Gallows feeding the shine of Axiom and Frazier is pointless, isn't it? Like it doesn't look right, and it would expose him in some ways. So if you notice the shine in the first act of this match, folks, Gallows is not in at all. And the idea is Cole's trying to keep up with them, and he's cutting them off, and they go again and going again, and they're struggling for momentum. They had that really cool cutoff, I thought, where Cole kicked the middle rope out. And then Gallows comes in, and he was kind of presented as an X factor throughout the match. He was presented as kind of a guy who could turn the tide in there. So I thought that made sense. He had that cool catch choke slam at the end. It was neat to see them do their thing, have a nice match on a show that people actually watched, relatively speaking. And I was quite pleased with how it came off. I was happy for the Good Brothers, and Axiom and Frazier. Frazier in particular is quite spectacular. His hot tag was electric, I thought.
It was probably over delivered on my expectations, to be honest, and I was expecting it to be pretty good, to be honest. Because Nathan Frazier and Axiom are very good, and they, like I said, like even though I said it lightly, you put them with like two, decent, experienced pro wrestlers who will be able to recognize that these guys are actually quite, dynamic, and especially in that regard, especially Frazier, and just let them kind of do their thing whilst plugging in, you know what I mean, or putting the match together properly, etc., bridging it together, etc. So yeah, man, good shit. I thought it was a good show, man. Like, even with like the crowd thing, in terms of like the work put out by the talent and how the matches were produced, I actually thought it was a good show. It's but from the moment it was announced that WWE were going to do an event at fucking the Apex, I was just like, why? Like, it's fucking terrible. Like, why would I just?
Oh yeah, Joe, can you man this show at the usual NXT 3500 seater?
Dude. It would have tore it up for real. Yeah, I mentioned that to you before the show. I was like, I'm bummed that the Good Brothers NXT Takeover, NXT, whatever the fuck we call these now. I was bummed their match wasn't in an arena setting, and I think now we saw it, it's even more of a bummer because that would have got over huge. I think in an arena.
That would have been sick.
Yeah,
Jordan and Roxanne having that match in the arena would have been killer.
Yeah, their match got over at the Apex, so they definitely would have got a great reaction in a bigger setting for sure.
Yep.
We did mention the contract stuff, but I guess since we spoke about it a lot yesterday, I guess there's been like little updates, but in terms of like, there's been no like major changes. If anything, kind of like the way we was expecting things to go last night have just accelerated in the sense of like, Ricochet is leaving WWE. It's been reported by PW Insider today that tonight's Raw, which is about to start in like 15 minutes, will be Ricochet's last appearance for the promotion unless something drastically changes, which is looking unlikely at the moment. People are expecting him to go to AEW. Sean basically reported basically, pretty much the same thing in the sense of it, like, he's expected to be leaving WWE, and it's pretty obvious where he's going, isn't it? Obviously we won't hear too much about, he's signed with AEW until he actually becomes a free agent, which actually hasn't been reported. I don't think like the actual date of when. So we'll see. We'll see when he shows up to AEW. Maybe AEW can use that as a weapon because like we don't know when he's going to show up. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't know if he can just show up next week. We don't know if he can. He has to wait until the end of the summer or something like that. We don't know. So AEW could potentially use that to their advantage in the surprise element of it. What else was there? Chad Gable. The belief, it hasn't been confirmed, but the belief is that Chad Gable has re-signed or is extremely close to re-signing with WWE. No big surprises yet, considering our stances yesterday. And he's getting paid. It seems like he's getting paid very handsomely. So he deserves it. And nothing too surprising there either. So in terms of the updates, I think that's where we're at. Unless I missed anything since yesterday.
No, it's Ricochet and Gable. What we expected of them being moving more towards what we expected.
Yeah,
like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
El Desperado, Monty. He won best
Wrestler of the week.
Oh, is that an announcement?
Well, yeah, because we haven't tweeted it yet, so I guess
yeah,
it is.
That was an announcement.
How many votes did Despy get compared to the Good Brothers, though?
That's a good one there. I'll tell you what, Monty. Main event, Osaka Joe Hall. New Japan made the right choice, Monty. They did not main event with Moxley and Evil's lumberjack match.
I heard that was good though.
I was gonna say sources close to Backup Hangman confirmed to me that it was one of the better House of Torture matches, and I can believe that because Moxley's quite good. But they did not main event with that. I don't know if you guys heard this. Hiroshi Tanahashi held a press conference. He basically did a 10-point plan, like he's Obama, a 10-point plan to get New Japan back on track. And he announced he acknowledged a lot of the criticisms of the promotion, and he basically did this briefing to kind of re-inspire confidence in within consumers. And one of the things he said was, "We'll take a serious look at House of Torture and interferences in matches in general." And some people are of the belief that Moxley lumberjack match may have been a ender to just that style of match being prevailing in New Japan. Now we shall see, because Dick Togo and Gato have certain sensibilities. But Moxley retained. He's going to be facing Tetsuya Naito at Forbidden Door. And I'll tell you what, on a normally I'd look at that and not be super into that. But they had a match at a fucking New Japan Strong show. I believe it was the Chicago one that was like fucking great. So we'll see how that goes. But back to Desperado, Montel. This guy main evented Dominion in Osaka Joe Hall, and he beat Taiji Ishimori, a guy that I thought was dead in the water. This is a guy who, in his prime days in Noah, when this guy was fucking going at it with the Naomichi Marufujis and Kentas of the world, he was right up there with those dudes. And as you guys all may know, being 40 wrestling when you've spent extensive time in Noah is not 40. It's like 50 physically. You know what I mean? You double your bump card, right?
Yeah.
And so I watch modern Taiji, and I usually feel absolutely nothing. I'm like, this guy is like, he's finished, right? But this guy went out there in Korakuen Hall earlier in the week with TJP. And Joe, I think I've privately expressed this to you. I was like, I don't want to watch this. And then I ended up watching it, and I was like, this is incredible. They had an incredible match. And the match with Despy at Dominion wasn't quite as good, but it was still great. Hell of a match. And hopefully El Desperado, who he's been a guy who really found himself post-pandemic, but doesn't have much to show for it by way of titles, and he never won a Best of the Super Juniors prior to this. But he got the moment here, which validates everything he's been working for in the last few years. Did it in the main event. Did it facing a motivated Taiji Ishimori. And so hats off to him. I thought these guys did some good business in the main event here. And if nothing else, it leaves me naively hopeful for New Japan's next few months. And I'm probably going to regret saying that, but at least for right now, gives you a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling leaving the show. Goes to show you how much card order is important, because they end that with Moxley, and you're like, fuck off, the evil deal. But you end off with this nice thing where Despy gets the trophy. It feels nice.
Yeah, man. It's very nice. Like you said, warm feeling. Just the possibility of New Japan on a positive trajectory is it's just nice,
The Tanahashi 10-point plan, man. The 10-point plan.
That did pop me when I woke up and saw like the reporting of like Tanahashi says, and he was like this thread of different like. Yeah,
he woke up and he opened up Microsoft Excel. He was like, all right,
Peace. But yeah, we'll close with some super chats. So get them in if you want us to get to anything. Showtime's first $5, appreciate it as always. Imagine an anarchy in the arena with ice cubes and natural born killers blasting in the background. No way Tony passes that up.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anarchy right person asked for it.
Anarchy in the Arena is a New Jack tribute in general. The whole brawling with the song playing.
Yep.
Corey David, $2. North American title Black Excellence continues. Kalani Jordan, appreciate you as always, Corey David. Absolutely. Will Chisholm, $5. Rossi saying he taught to Triple H and gave. I know what he's getting at, but he just worded it as Will Chisholm does. Rossi spoke to Triple H, and Triple H gave him the confidence to leave Stardom. I'm like, he's Luke Kevin Nash. He's like Kevin Nash. They tell everything. Oh, Will, this is
that was amusing seeing that Rossi, a man pushing 70, talk about how Triple H gave him the confidence to make his next career move. I was just kind of like, all right.
That was such a nasty quote.
It's not even a new quote either. Like,
he was like throwing a grenade into the wrestling conversation.
Like with the energy online about like just all of this and Rossi, and he's just like, you know who really helped me? Triple H. He's the reason I left Stardom. You're like, what the fuck?
Bro said to him, we might give you a day on Natalia, and he said, I'm out here. Let's go.
What did that conversation actually sound like? You know what I mean? Can you imagine Rossi just being like, yeah, man, you know, it's kind of weird with Bushy Road, kind of getting a lot of influence. And go, Joe, could you man this? He's like, Bushy was really interfering with my stuff, and Triple H is like, you know, I have experience having a baby and people just interfering in your shit. People just getting their hands on your stuff, you know, and ruining it. Let me tell you, if I had a chance to make my own company, I would do it. If you want to do that, you do it, brother. Because because they had the same, they experienced the same issue when you really think about it.
Kinda, yeah.
Bushiroad's is Vince.
Will Chisholm, $5. I know WWE and TNA are working together, but I'm still surprised that Gail Kim was there, knowing her history with WWE. Yeah, she says she'll never step foot back in there, didn't she? So, you know.
Pro wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Will Chisholm,
some of the key players have gone too, right? So,
Will Chisholm, $2. CM Punk selling what Roxanne said to him. Pop me. I mean, yeah, did you see that yet, Eva?
Yes, I did.
Pop.
I have a scoop for you guys. That was not planned. He just walked in the frame because he wanted to.
Yeah. Eddie, $2. Appreciate it. Any insight to offer on WWE paying per appearance?
No, but
nothing Brian of an assumption, you know.
Brian, they're letting deals completely run out rather than doing the whole extensions ahead of time, because apparently now the edict is that all WWE contracts have to now be signed directly to TKO rather than WWE.
Sean reported it, bro. Yeah, Sean put it out there. Yeah, it's just a weird one. It's kind of just an extension of the conversation of WWE being like quite incompetent with the contracts running out and stuff like that lately. So I think it's just kind of an extension of that. I don't think it's kind of like a long-term plan that they're looking to do, you know. So mate, hopefully by like, I don't know, if you WWE at least, hopefully by like the end of the year they get kind of this under control, you know, and you know they start getting ahead of signing people and not letting the contracts get to the last week or running out and getting them on per appearance, because as a promotion, why would you put yourself in that position? It's just that makes sense.
Amanda Pollock was walking and getting his fucking envelope check because on a per appearance thing.
Kale, 20 pesos. Appreciate you as always. Late running to show support. Appreciate that, mate. Julia super chat. Yeah, my shout out, Julia. Big fan. Is there anything we didn't talk about?
Wrestling.
Fair.
FTR went 20 minutes with a returned Yuta and Claudio, and that was interesting.
You didn't like it that much, did you?
Yeah, Owen parties, the Owen announcements as well, like Willow, Stat.
Hell yeah.
Who else?
Dude, I thought that FTR match was fucking awesome, which is the least surprising news bulletin of the year. I thought it ruled. I gave it 4 stars, and that was shaving a quarter off for the tights. And I don't do the 4 stars thing a lot.
It was remarkable how much I like didn't love it. I don't know. I was just
Oracle said the same thing to me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I overrated it. I don't know.
There's no such thing as that. It's just you know.
Yes, It's the beauty of taste, right, bro?
The thing is, I don't feel like me and this. I don't think it was a taste thing for me because we usually have similar overlapping. I don't know.
It's just. I think every viewing experience is different, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's always taste. Even if you've got similar taste to a friend, it's like you're not always gonna.
I sat there and I was like, "This is boring as fuck."
Really? See, I kind of felt that way about the main event. I don't know if you like the main event or not, but
I skipped that.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
And on that note,
shout out to Dustin Rhodes.
We're going home. We are going home. We are about to watch Bron Breakker hospitalize Ricochet. So that is on the agenda tonight. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the super chats. You guys give us stuff to talk about. What else? Tomorrow, Raw review. Ibu, maybe Isra, Rob. Yeah, they're going to talk about the crucifixion of Ricochet, and I don't know, man. I don't know how to wrap this up. Just thanks for watching. Like, subscribe on the way out. Comment. I don't know. Comment your favorite color. I don't know, man. I'm cool. All right, peace.